Hey guys, welcome to Surf and Show. I'm Noel Souse with special guest Duke Aipa on the show.
Who the guy?
Having so much fun talking boards. This episode is made specifically to identify the differences between the flat earth and the dark twin. So Duke, was this been an ongoing question for you like it has been for me?
Oh, all the time, daily basis, and it's a good question.
Sure.
It's a good question because it means that someone actually is curious enough to ask it instead of assuming, oh, it's the same board, I'm not going to buy that one, or I'm not going to buy that one. I already have this one.
Right.
So I appreciate the question, but this episode is going to be radical because it's going to explain what's different.
Yeah. You guys are going to love this episode. Sit back, get your favorite drink, enjoy the show. Now, Duke, having you on the show talking about your dad influencing and teaching you and your brother Ezekiel on design, I answer so many questions. I remember when I first got the flat earth and I was doing the review on that, people would say, hey, is that similar to Duke's board, the dark twin? And what are the differences? And I'm thinking, well, first off, I had never even touched a dark twin before. I hadn't seen the bottom contours. And I think our community, we get caught up that if the board looks the same, it rides the same. And
Right.
I feel like that's what this interview is about, really.
100%. I mean, because everything can't be taken at face value.
Right.
I mean, yes, they come from a similar influence.
Right.
But me and my brother both are individuals. We're yin and yang.
Right.
Yes, our main influence is our father, but I also have other influences, other things I look and draw from.
Right.
It's just like if your dad was a musician and you had a sibling that was a musician, you're a musician, chances are you're both gonna kind of sound like dad, but you're gonna have your own thing, your own taste.
Right.
And that's me and my brother. So
Yeah,
between
good.
the dark twin and the flat earth, totally different tastes.
Polar opposites underfoot. I want to talk about some of the differences that I think people would line up to. Both these boards are 5.6. Aesthetically, the dark twin has a wider outline in the nose area. I would still say it's got a high performance feel to it. It wouldn't be like any kind of hybrid type nose, obviously, but it's considerably wider than the flat earth.
100%. And the key component of why was I live in California.
Right.
I was designing this board mostly for a California type surf.
Right.
For the varying kinds of breaks up and down the coast.
Sure.
The one common denominator in that is foam. You know, if you're building a board that you want to work in overhead and below, got to widen the nose out.
Yeah.
Got to thicken up the rails a little bit.
Sure.
I mean, our dad, he taught us both to make very tapered rails, which I do in our thicker boards, and it makes the thicker board super responsive.
Yeah.
But when you start bringing that into a growler style board or smaller boards, sometimes that doesn't always translate in California surf.
Right.
So I kept that same lower apex
Yep.
for that sensitivity. I just filled it out.
Yep.
So it's California friendly.
Yep, that's a good point, because I remember reviewing the flat earth and I started with a 5.5 and it was roughly 25.5, some change volume. I went to the 5.6, then I went to the 5.7, and Ezekiel's rail is more tapered, a little bit more sensitive. And I feel like one of the things that's really important that we all need to remember is that Ezekiel's designing a board with Kelly. And Kelly, from what I've even had a couple of his boards back in the day when I rode for CI, his boards are hypersensitive. He likes a lot of pivot. He wants to get in the lip quick. And that's kind of how the flat earth felt for me. And when I rode it in the 5.5, 5.6, and 5.7 twin plus trailer, it went great. As soon as I took that stabilizer out in the 5.5 and 5.6, and I was riding it purely as a twin fin, I could have used a little bit more volume in the rail just to have the control. And I would say the dark twin is running true to size.
100%. And you know, that's a big variable, is who you're designing for.
Right.
So for me, I design more for the everyday surfer.
Right.
And that everyday surfer, their sensitivity is completely different. You have to give them a little more.
Right.
But that was a big reason why I decided to make the amount of V and double concave coming out the tail so heavy.
Right.
Because it made it that much easier for your everyday surfer to transition rail to rail.
Sure.
And then when a surfer like you gets on there, they have that capability of taking their sensitivity and really just tapping rail to rail and not having to push, which in California soft surf, if you're tapping on your back foot a little lighter, it's going to help you project through.
Sure. Now you mentioned bottom contours, and your V being a lot more aggressive than the flat earth. It's starting up higher, right?
Oh, 100%.
Right by the wing, you said in the Dark Twin review. And I noticed that. If I could talk about the two differences about what both boards felt like underfoot, I would say the Dark Twin is easier to put on rail, hold it on rail, and it's actually kind of the best of both pivot and drive or carve. Because of the V, and it goes up higher, it wants to settle down, and I felt like I had a good control in the 5.6. Now, what I'll say about the flat earth that I loved is the thing is just pivoting so quick. So for guys that are looking for a Twin Plus trailer that wanted to ride just like a high performance shortboard, but have the Twin Plus trailer feel like you and I've talked about the freedom of it.
Yep.
I feel like the flat earth might offer a little bit more vertical high performance line compared to the Dark Twin. I will say that the Dark Twin is more user friendly. I felt like it probably paddled a little bit better. I think that it'll grovel better in smaller waves. And it also, and you and I talked about this before we started shooting, that it has a bit wider tail.
Yep. Yeah.
Right? Another thing that's going to carry more speed.
Again, another attribute that was required for California surf. And what was rad is that making all these California adjustments translated really well to surf like Mexico and Hawaii,
right?
Which is a plus, you know?
For sure. The other thing I want to mention is the flat earth, with me going from a stock 5.5, trying the 5.6 and 5.7. This is the 5.6, which is a little bit more volume than I would normally ride. And yours being true to size, when people want to order the Dark Twin, you can order it true to size of what your normal high performance shortboard volume is.
Pretty much.
And you'll be able to nail it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I usually suggest that you drop 2 inches below your standard daily driver for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so with flat earth, the tapered rail, it's super sensitive. I really liked it. Twin Plus trailer, 5.6, take that extra foam. You guys size up one size on the flat earth within reason. I know there's a jump from certain levels in the stock sizes. And if you need help with that, just ask me questions in the comment field below. But for me, 2 completely different boards. Guys, you can't be fooled with, they both have the same dad, they have different names, they have different bottom contours, and both boards ride polar opposite. They're both sick. I think you guys will be stoked. Hit up Duke, order a custom, get it in dark arts, PU, poly, whatever they want, right?
Whatever you want.
Now, Eddie, I know you had the privilege of riding the flat earth a bunch. Before you saw me come out on the Dark Twin, I remember you were saying, hey, how's the board feel? Because you were really excited for the dark arts construction. So can you tell me, a little bit of the difference between what both boards felt like underfoot without considering construction?
I will say got the Dark Twin because I loved the design of the flat earth, and I thought that those are pretty similar in that sense. And because I loved it so much, I was like, I got to try the new technology. But as far as how they ride without the technology, my real thought is there's a small difference with deep double concave on the back of the Dark Twin. Gave it a little bit more tail freedom, tail release, and a little bit more potential slip in a good way relative to the flat earth. That was my primary difference, I think. The flat earth also felt a little bit more knifey because of that.
Right.
So those are my main pulls as far as the design solely.
Interesting. So for me, I don't know if this translates well to you. I actually felt like the Dark Twin was easier to engage the rail because it's rolling over easier. I felt like it liked to carve more. Yeah. And I felt like the flat earth is just, that felt more like a high performance shortboard to me with the Twin Plus trailer. It's pivoting quicker. I feel like that board reminds me of something you'd write on the QS. Like for me to translate what Kelly's writing, and this is what he's designing with Aquila, I'm like, shoot, that board turns as sharp as any of my high performance shortboards.
Very true.
It'll get right up in the lip real fast. and I kind of feel like this one's a tad more user-friendly, running a little bit more true to size with volume and dimensions.
Yep.
And really liking to carve, and it still pivots good. I just can manipulate pivot with the fin templates that I'm choosing.
So I guess to highlight what you first said about the high performance shortboard feel of the Flat Earth versus the Dark Twin, I totally agree with what you say as far as the knifiness of the Flat Earth versus a little bit more user-friendly Dark Twin.
Right.
The pivot is very high, and you can I guess the word is it's knifey. You literally, the ability to carve on the Flat Earth feels like a high performance shortboard, and I do also feel that the Dark Twin works a little better on softer faces, we'll say.
Yep.
I rode the Flat Earth at Waco, a punchy little chest to shoulder high wave.
Sure.
Absolutely loved it. And the pivot and being in that tight little pocket of a relatively steep wave consistently just felt like that was the perfect board for Waco, in my opinion. I bought it. I went into Rip Curl, and James is like, you're going to Waco, you have to try this board. Got it, and he was so right in that sense. And then the Dark Twin I rode at Kelly's Pool. A little bigger wave, not quite as that small, bowly, punchy, wrapping kind of feel.
Right.
And that was, as good of a board as I could imagine riding at a wave like that.
Sure.
As far as, yes, I would say that the Dark Twin definitely is more user-friendly. The widerness, I think you can feel it, but without taking away from the high-performance elements of it.
Sure.
But yeah, if I was going to choose between a waist to chest high day and it was a little softer, Dark Twin all day, every day.
Yeah.
If it was, like a chest high and punchy, a lot more punchy, like a Newport Beach Break or something with a good little tight shoulder, tight pocket, Flat Earth all day long.
Good articulation, bro. Thanks for joining us on the show and giving us a breakdown from a third party unbiased. I know you paid for both your boards.
Absolutely. Full price.
Yeah. And we love having you on the show, and I think our community's stoked to hear from another excellent surfer, in my opinion.
Thank you.
I surf with you all the time, and you're always ripping, Eddie.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode with Duke Aipa on the Dark Twin and the Flat Earth, because you guys asked for it. Look, if you like the show, subscribe, ring the bell so you don't miss an episode, and give us a thumbs up if you like our content. Until next time,
Aloha.
we'll see you later. Bye-bye.